How about now? Okay na? Mas maganda ba?
Yes, sir.
Better, Sir Ronald.
Okay,
Much
sige.
better, sir.
Secretariat, may quorum na tayo.
Yes, sir. We have a quorum na po. Shall we proceed na
Okay,
po sa...
good morning to everyone. The meeting is now called to order. Secretariat will please lead the prayer. Morning prayer.
Um, let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. We pray for guidance in the matters at hand and ask that would clearly show us how to conduct our work with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Okay, and good morning. So, Secretariat, proceed with the roll call.
Copy, sir. Moving on, um, acknowledging first the presence of our presiding officer, Engineer Arnold R. Balocating. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Also with us is Engineer Elmer Gomez,
Morning, present.
Engineer Arnold Bogato,
Present, good morning.
sir. We also have representatives from our MP, sir, Sir Ernesto Bogdan.
Present, ma'am.
Good morning po. From the PWG, with us is Engineer Jocelyn Joseph Tabaslanga,
Present online.
Engineer Emmanuel Calosa,
Present online.
Engineer Eduardo Moises Sacopan,
Present online.
Sir Moises, good morning po. Engineer Norit Baez,
Present. Good morning.
from the back secretariat, we have the overall head, Engineer John Salves, Sir Leandro. We also have representatives from procurement and internal audit as observer. Uh, with that, sir, we have a quorum.
Okay, okay now.
Uh, Moving forward
Okay, so
now
we
po
could proceed with
sa
the agenda. What is the agenda, Secretariat?
yes, sir. We have procurement of conference for various projects under ANS. First is the supply and delivery of 12 sets, 10 watts VHF AM transceiver for various airports, amounting to 5,990,000 90,400. Um, sa presenter po, we will call the presenter for this project.
Okay, end user, you may now proceed with the presentation.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. I'm here to present to you a purchase request entitled Supply and Delivery of 10 watts VHF AM transceiver for various airports. The ABC of which is 5,990,400. Source of funds is the approved APP for fiscal year 2022 under capital outlay, supply and delivery of 10 watts VHF AM transceivers for various airports with APT code 0832. CBA number is 22-050395 dated May 11, 2022. The 10 watts VHF AM transceivers are the most commonly used transceivers radio in a small aerodrome control tower or flight service station. They are used by ATC to convey instruction and information to pilots during landing, takeoff, and course of flight within the 10 nautical mile controlled aerodrome. This is how a 10 watts transceiver looks like. Oftentimes, airports request for backup radios or temporary replacement of their defective transceivers pending repairs of their defective unit at the ANS Technical Center. And thus, ANS intends to procure 12 sets of 10 watts gates of AM transceivers for various airports with recommended mode of procurement as public bidding. For the bidding document,
Proceed.
yes, sir. For the bidding documents, here it is, sir. Table of contents, glossary,
Lakihan
invitation
mo,
to
medyo
bid.
malit yung screen mo.
Yan, sir.
Okay,
Okay
sige.
na yan, sir.
Sige, okay na.
Invitation, invitation to bid. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, CAAP, through the CAAP Corporate Operating Budget for fiscal year 2022 intends to apply the total sum of 3,720,000 in the approved budget for the contract to payments under the supply and delivery of 10 watts VHF transceivers for various airports. The CAAP now invites bids for the above procurement projects. Delivery of goods is required within 90 calendar days. Bidding will be conducted through open competitive bidding procedures using non-discretionary pass or fail. Prospective bidders may obtain further information from BAC Secretariat of CAAP via Road, Pasay City, and inspect the bidding documents at the address given below. Complete bidding documents may be acquired by interested bidders until the deadline submission of bids from the given address and websites below, and upon payments of the applicable fee for pursuant to the latest guidelines issued by GPPB in the amount of 10,000 plus 12% VAT. The procuring entity shall allow the bidders to present the proof of payments for the fees through email. The CAAP will hold a pre-bid conference through video conferencing or webcasting Google Meet application, which shall be open to prospective bidders who will coordinate with the BAC Secretariat for the Google Meet link. Bids must be duly received by the BAC Secretariat through manual submission at the office address indicated below. All bids must be accompanied by bid security in any acceptable form and in the amount stated in the ITB Clause 14. Bids opening shall be at the given address below and or via video conferencing Google Meet application. Bids will be opened in the presence of the bidder's representative who choose to attend the activity. The CAAP reserves the right to reject any and all bids declared failure of bidding or not award the contract at any time prior to contract award in accordance with Section 35.6 and 41 of 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184, without thereby incurring any liability to the affected bidders or bidders. For further information, please contact Engineer Leandro R. Barquez, the overall head BAC Secretariat. For the instruction to bidders, the procuring entity, CAAP, has to receive bids for the supply and delivery of 10 watts VHF AM transceivers for various airports. Funding of information, funding as indicated below for fiscal year 22 in the amount of 5,990,400. The source of funding is the corporate operating budget. For the DBS, 5.3, for this purpose, contract similar to the project shall be supply and delivery of radio communication equipment system. ANS haven't procured these 10 watts for the last 5 years, so we have broadened the scope for the similar contract and should be completed within 5 years prior to the deadline for submission and receipt of bids. For 7.1, no further instruction. 10.1 per CAAP Memorandum dated 17/2018, disqualification of prospective bidders with pending case against the government in the procurement activities of CAAP. All prospective bidders shall required to submit the following. Number one is the certification under oath attesting that they have no pending cases. Two, the legal clearance to be issued by CAAP Enforcement and Legal Service with respect to the non-pendency of any cases prospective bidders against the authority. For number 12, the price of the goods shall be quoted in DDP, CAAP, via road, Pasay City, or the applicable international commercial terms, Incoterms for this project. Number 14.1, the bid security shall be in the form of bids clearing declaration or any of the following forms and amounts. The amount of not less than 2%, which is 119,808, and the amount of not less than 5%, which is equivalent to 299,520,000. For item number 15, each and every page thereof shall be initialed by the duly authorized representative of the bidders. For 19.3, partial bid is not allowed. The goods are grouped in a single lot, and lot shall not be divided into sublots for the purpose of bidding and evaluation. For 20.2, no license required. For the special conditions of the contract, sunlight. Or number 4, the inspection and test which will be conducted shall include but not limited to inspection in inventory or whatever additional tests that the technical inspection team may require. For the schedule of requirement, we require 12 sets for 10 watts BHF radius. This includes the power supply, coaxial cables, dynamic channel press to talk microphone, antenna, and mounting hardwares. And the delivery will be 90 calendar days. For the technical specification, the frequency range should be 118 to 133.6975 megahertz. Emission is AM. Communication method is press to talk. Channel spacing is 25 kilohertz or 8.33 kilohertz capable. Power supply requirement is 12 to 28 volt DC, negative ground. Usable temperature is negative 30 to positive 30 degrees. Frequency stability should be plus and minus 2 ppm. Antenna impedance is 50 ohms. The output power should be 10 watts carrier power. Sensitivity at 12 dB CNAD should be 1 microvolt or negative 107 dBm or better. The mic connector is 8 or pin modular, 600 ohms. I/O connector for external speakers supports DCS and RCMS. Compliance is ATSI EN 367 compliant. And antenna should be PHF omnidirectional with a frequency of 118 to 137 MHz with mounting hardwares. We also require transmission lines to have a 50-meter RG214 coaxial cable and lighting protection for each channel. Warranty is 1 year against factory defect. For the checklist, so this is all standard. Wala naman kaming dinagdag. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Sige, okay. Excuse lang sandali ha. Sige, okay. Tapos na June presentation mo.
Sir, that's all my
Okay.
presentation, sir.
Okay, so to TWG, do you have any question with reference to the presentation of the end user?
If I may, Mr. Chair, Jofet, sir.
Go ahead, Jupiter.
Thank you, sir. Regarding lang po dun sa checklist, request lang po namin yung end user to download po yung latest version ng checklist sa GPPB. Meron po kasi mga changes dun sa checklist po. Thank you po.
So,
Sir
Jupiter,
Joseph, will do that.
kung gagawin yun, mayroong pagbabago sa document ba na sinubmit niya?
Um, Wala naman po. Doon lang po sa ano sir, sa checklist,
Okay,
yung
sige.
last page ng ano po, ng bidding document.
Okay, sige.
Mhm.
Noted. So, take note, end user. So, pakikon yun. Para dapat ano
Noted,
yun,
sir.
consider before the pre-bid conference. Okay, thank you. Any more comment uh, from the TWG and other members of the BAC? Okay, hearing none, end user, what is your recommendation or request?
Yes, Mr. Chair, may request that this purchase request entitled the supply and delivery of 10 watts BHF AM transceiver will be posted at PhilJEP's publication with public bidding as a mode of procurement, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. TWG, TWG, any
Sir, as part of the TWG team, I would like to adopt the recommendations of the end user for posting for this particular project.
okay, thank you. Uh, to the members of the BAC, any comments or
Motion, Mr. Chair.
thank you, Arnel? Motion, please.
Uh, Subject to the rectification or the as pointed out by Engineer Torre Franca, the checklist. Uh, I hereby adopt the recommendation for the posting of the supply and delivery of 12 units, 12 sets, 10 watts BHF AM transceiver for various airports, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Arnel. Any second motion?
Seconded the motion, Mr.
Okay, thank you, Arnel. So, with the request of end user and recommendation of TWG, first motion and second motion, the BAC will adopt the recommendation for the posting of the project after the rectification as mentioned by the TWG. So ordered. Thank you. Secretariat, next agenda, please.
Next in our agenda is the supply and delivery of 50 watts VHF AM transceiver for various airports amounting to 4,500,000 pesos. Also an ANS project. May we request for the presenter of the bid docs. Thank you.
Okay, end user, proceed with the presentation.
Thank you, sir. Then, good morning, everyone. Title or purchase request is the supply and delivery of 50 watts VHF AM transceiver for various airports. The ABC of which is 4,680,000. The source of funds, the approved APP for fiscal year 2022 under capital outlay, supply delivery of 50 watts VHF AM transceiver for various airports with APP code 0832. CBA number is 22-05-0405 dated May 12, 2022. The 50 watts VHF AM transceivers are used by ATC in air-to-ground communication for aerodrome and approach control. This is how a 50 watts transceiver looks like. Oftentimes, airports request for backup radio or temporary replacement of their defective transceivers pending repairs of their defective unit at the ANS Technical Center. For this reason, ANS intends to procure 3 sets of 50 watts VHF AM transceivers for various airports with the recommended mode of procurement as public bidding. For the bidding documents, supply and deliver of 50 watts VHF transceivers for various airports. Table contents, glossary, for the invitation to bid, the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, CAAP through CAAP operating by fiscal 22, intends to apply the total sum of 4,680,000 pesos, being the approved budget for the contract ABC for the payment under the contract supply and delivery of 50 watts VHF AM transceivers for various airports. CAAP now invites bids for the above procurement project. Delivery of goods is now required within 90 calendar days. Bidding will be conducted through open competitive bidding procedures using non-discretionary pass-or-fail criterion. Prospective bidders may obtain further information from BAC Secretariat of CAAP near Road, Pasay City. Complete set of bidding documents may be acquired by interested bidders until the deadline of submission bids from the given address and websites below, and upon payment of the applicable fee for the bidding documents pursuant to the latest GPPB in the amount of 5 million plus 12% VAT, the CAAP will hold a pre-bid conference. Bids must be duly received by BAC Secretariat through manual submission at the office address indicated below on or before. 8 bids shall not be accepted. All bids must be accompanied by bid security in any acceptable forms and in the amount stated in the ITB Clause 14. Bid opening shall be on at the given address below and or via bid to conference single payment application. Bids will be open in the presence of the bidders' representatives who choose to attend the activity. The CAAP reserves the right to reject any and all bids declared a failure of bidding or not award the contract at any time prior to contract award in accordance with Section 35.6 and 41 of the 2016 revised IRR. For further information, please refer to Engineer Leandro Alvarez, the overall head BAC Secretariat. For the instruction to bidders, the procuring entity CAAP wishes to receive bids for the supply and delivery of 50 watts VHF transceivers for various airports. Funding information, the GOP through the source of funding as indicated below for fiscal year 2022 in the amount of 4,680,000. The source of funding is the corporate operating budget. For the VDS, for this purpose, contracts similar to the project shall be supply and delivery of radio communication equipment completed within 5 years prior to the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. 7.1, no further instruction. 10.1, for CAAP memorandum dated 17/2018 regarding the disqualification of prospective bidders with pending case against the government in the procurement activities of the CAAP. All prospective bidders shall be required to submit the following. Number 1, certification under oath attesting that they have no pending cases. Number 2, legal clearance to be issued by CAAP, legal enforcement and legal service with respect to the non-tendency of any cases of prospective bidders against the authority. For number 12, the prices of the goods shall be quoted bidding CAAP Road, Pasay City, or the applicable input terms for this project. Number 14.1, the bid security shall be in the form of bid securing declaration or any of the following forms and amounts. The amount of not less than 2%, which is 93,000 pesos. Number two, the amount of not less than 5%, which is 234,000. For number 15, each and every page thereof shall be initialed by the duly authorized representative of the bidder. Submitted eligibility technical financial document shall be properly marked with index tabs and must be sequentially paginated in the appropriate order in the form of page 3 of 100. Pagination shall be sequential all throughout the documents inside the envelope. Bids not complying with the above instructions shall be automatically disqualified. Each bidder shall submit a copy of the first and second component of its bid. For 19.3, partial bid is not allowed. The goods are grouped in a single lot and shall not be divided into sublots for the purpose of bidding, valuation, and contract award. For 20.2, no license required. For 2.2, not applicable. For item number 4, the inspection and test which will be conducted shall include the physical inspection in inventory or whatever additional tests that the technical inspection team may require. For the schedule of requirement, there will be securing 3 sets, including the coaxial cables, the dynamic handheld press to talk, microphone, antenna, mounting hardwares, and other items included in the standard package. The delivery will be 90 calendar days. For the technical specifications, should be the type should be rack or console mount, should be the IKO Annex 10 requirements compliant. The frequency range is from 118 to 136.975 megahertz. Channel spacing is 25 kilohertz or 8.83 kilohertz. Supply voltage is from for the AC is 100 to 240 volts AC. For the DC, it should be 21.6 to 32 volt negatively ground. For the usable temperature range, is to 50 to positive 55 degrees Celsius. The frequency stability should be plus and minus 1 ppm. Frequency response should be 300 hertz to 3400 hertz. Antenna impedance is 50 ohms. Should have also a byte warning, byte monitoring for the BSWR, voltages, currents, level, lock defect, temperature, and output power, etc. For the transmit, carry output power should be 50 watts maximum and should be adjustable. Duty cycle is continuous. Modulation is AM. Modulation factor adjustment up to at least 85%. Distortion less than 5%. For the receive, sensitivity for the 10 dB PNAD is negative 107 dBm or better. For adjacent channel rejection, 60 dB or greater. For the interface, it should have microphone for active and passive mic input. Line should be 600 ohm balance. Facilities multiple interfaces for line recording and other purposes. For the antenna system, should be VHF omnidirectional glass fiber crowded dipole from 118 to 137 megahertz, 0 dB gain with 150 watts power handling capacity, supplied with jumps. For the transmission lines, we will be requiring 200 meters of RG214 coaxial cable supplied with 2 pieces of N-type connectors. Heating protection, 1 each N-type panel, mount multi-strike lighting side suppressors with 13 panel. For the checklist, the checklist should be 1 each N-type panel, mount multi-strike lighting side suppressors with 13 panel. For the checklist, 1 each N-type panel, mount multi-strike lighting side suppressors with 13 panel. For the checklist, We will consider the earlier recommendation of the TWG to download the latest checklist for this project, sir. And we will incorporate it with this bidding document.
Okay,
That's all, Mr. Chair.
thank you. Thank you, Jun. Okay, with reference to the presentation of end user, PWG, do you have any comments as well as the secretariat? Do you have any comments?
For the TWG, Mr. Chair, no more additional comment po.
Yeah. Okay. So the same observation with the previous project.
Yes, Mr. Chair. As also mentioned by the end user, they will be changing the necessary revision pala dun sa document po, sa checklist po, portion.
Okay, thank you. About secretariat, do you have comment?
Yes, sir. On behalf of the Secretariat po, may I just verify the amount po of the ABC since there is a discrepancy po on the written figure on our agenda. On the agenda it is 4,500,000 while the presented figure po ni end user is 4,680,000. So which is the correct figure, sir?
End user, please clarify that. 4.5 million. June?
Yes, sir. The ABC from the approved PAU is 4,680,000.
Okay. So,
Duly
secretariat,
noted po.
nagkamali sa encoding. Sa, ano,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Noted po. Thank you.
Okay, so end user, what is the request of the end user for this project?
As Mr. Chair, ANS would like to request for the posting of this project entitled Supply and Delivery of 50 watts VHF AM transceiver be posted at PhilJEP's website for publication with public bidding as the mode of procurement, Mr. Chair. That's all.
Okay, thank you. To the TWG, any recommendation to the request of end user? TWG?
Mr. Chair, for the TWG, the TWG also recommends for the publication of the presented project, Mr. Chair, pending the revision of the checklist, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So to the other members of the BAC, any comment or motion?
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Elmer.
Move to adopt the recommendation of the TWG for the publication of the project supply and delivery of 50 watts of HFAM radio for various airports, pending uh, the attachment and the revision of the attachment checklist, and also the mode of procurement as public bidding.
Thank you, Elmer.
Seconded, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Arnold. Okay, with the request of end user and recommendation TWG with the first motion and second motion, the BAC will adopt the recommendation for the posting of the project after the necessary revision on the checklist as pointed out by the TWG. Okay. So ordered. Okay, Secretariat, next agenda.
Our next agenda is purchase installation of ILS for Iloilo International Airport amounting to 56,535,521 and 85 centavos, also an ANS project, sir.
Okay, end user, do you have presentation?
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Chair, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, I'll be sharing the bid documents for procurement for the purchase installation of wireless for Iloilo International Airport.
June, pakilaki. Medyo maliit yung ano,
Okay, Mr. Chair.
yung okay. Tama. Mas
So,
maganda.
okay, Mr. Chair. Proceeding. Table of contents or glossary. Section 1, invitation to bid. Invitation to bid for purchase installation of ILS for Iloilo International Airport. Number 1, the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines through the CAAP Multi-Year Budget Authority for fiscal year 2022 intends to apply the sum of 56,535,521 pesos and 85 centavos, being the ABC to payments under the contract for purchase into installation of ILS for Iloilo International Airport. Bids received in excess of the ABC shall be automatically rejected at bid opening. Number 2, the CAAP now invites bids for the supply, delivery, installation, training, and commissioning of flight check of ILS and its ancillaries. Refer to Section 6, Schedule of Requirements, and Section 7 of Technical Specifications for the above procurement project. Delivery of goods is required within the contract duration of 365 calendar days. Bidder shall provide proof, e.g. certification issued by airport airport authority that the offered equipment have been established in international airports from 3 different countries other than the country of origin where the offered equipment is manufactured, and the original equipment manufacturer of the offered instrument landing system. Equipment shall have been in manufacturing business of ILS for at least 10 years. The description of an eligible bidder is contained in the bidding documents in Section 2 ITB. Bidding will be conducted through open competitive bidding procedures using non-discretionary pass or fail criterion as specified in 2016 revised IRR RA 9184. Bidding is restricted to Filipino citizens, sole proprietorship, partnership, or organizations with at least 60% interest or outstanding capital stock belonging to citizens of the Philippines and to citizens or organization of a country that laws of regulation which grant similar rights or privileges to Filipino citizens pursuant to RA number 5183. Uh, Number 4, prospective bidders may obtain further information from CAAP and inspect the bidding documents uh, during 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Back office CAAP. Number 5, a complete set of bidding documents may be acquired by interested bidders on the given address and website or upon payment of bid documents amounting to 50,000 pesos plus 12% VAT, and the procuring entity shall allow the bidder to present its proof of payment for the fees presenting the official receipt. CAAP may also be uh, downloaded free of charge from the website at PhilJeps and the website of the procuring entity, provided that the bidders shall pay the applicable fee for the bidding documents not later than the submission of their bids. 6. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines will hold a pre-bid conference on a scheduled date. 7. Bids must be duly received by the BAC Secretariat through manual submission at Civil Aviation Authority on or before the given date. Number 8, all bids must be accompanied by bid security in any of the acceptable forms in the amount stated in ITB Clause 14. The bid opening shall be on a given date, and bids will be opened in the presence of the bidders, representatives who choose to attend the activity. Number 10, the CAAP reserves the right to reject any and all of the bids declare a failure of bidding or not award the contract at any time prior to contract award in accordance with Section 35.6 and 41 of the 2016 IRR. Number 11, further information. For further information, please refer to Engineer Leandro R. Varquez, CAAP BAC Head Secretariat. BAC Chair, Captain Donaldo A. Mendoza. Section 2, Instruction to Bidders. Number 1, the scope of bid. The procuring entity, CAAP, wishes to receive bids for the purchase installation of ILS for Iloilo International Airport with identification number blank. The funding information is 2.1, the GOP through the source of funding as indicated below for CY 2022 in the amount of 56,535,521 pesos and 85 centavos. The source of funding is CAAP Multi-Year Budget Authority for fiscal year 2022, APP item number 0828. Section 3, Bid Data Sheet. ITB Clause 3, bid bulletins, if applicable, are required to be submitted and shall be form part of the bidder's technical documents. Bids not complying with the above instructions shall be disqualified. 5.3, for this purpose, contracts similar to the project shall be supply, delivery, installation, testing, and commissioning of ILS and or DVOR completed within the last 10 years prior to the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. 7.1, subcontracting of the site preparation and incidental works alone is allowed. Construction of the electrical civil works components shall be done by a company with valid pickup small size B, size range C, or D license category in general engineering or general building and electrical or navigational aids works classification. 10.1A, letter A, per CAAP memorandum dated September 17th of September 2018 regarding disqualification of prospective bidders with pending case against the government in the procurement activities of the CAAP. All prospective bidders shall be required to submit the following. Number 1, certification under oath attesting that they have no pending cases against the government in addition to the eligibility requirements under 2016 IRR. Number 2, legal clearance to be issued by CAAF, Enforcement and Legal Services. Letter B, accomplished revised Annex A, ITB 10.1. For applicable items, the bidder shall indicate the technical component on a separate sheet using revised Annex A, ITB 10.1 for the brand type and or model version and quantities unit of each of the proposed equipment, subsystems, and ancillaries. This document shall be signed by the bidder's authorized representative. Letter C, design requirements and certification of site inspection, as specified in Section 8, Checklist of Technical and Financial Documents. Site inspection certificate shall be part of bid submission, and bidder shall coordinate with ANS on their schedule of site inspection. Bidder shall propose the schedule and send the details of their visiting personnel, such as the name, photocopy of ID to ANS, and the certificate of site inspection in form of is attached in this document. Bids not complying with the above instruction shall be disqualified. 12.1A4, the incidental services for goods offered from within the Philippines, and 12.1B2, incidental services for goods offered from abroad. 14.1, the bid security shall be in the form of bid securing declaration or any of the following forms. Letter A, the amount of not less than 2% of ABC if bid security is in cash, manager's check, bank draft guarantee, or irrevocable LC. B, the amount of not less than 5% of ABC if bid is in surety bond. 15, number 1, each and every page thereof shall be initialed, signed by the duly authorized representative of the bidder. Submitted eligibility, technical, and financial documents shall be properly marked with tabs within the tabs, ear tab, and must be sequentially paginated in accurate order in the form page 3 of 100. Page number of the last number of the document shall be per envelope basis, and pagination should be sequential based on the entire span of the whole documents inside the envelope. Number 2, each bidder shall submit one original copy of the first and second component of its bid. Bids not complying with the above instructions shall be automatically disqualified. 16.1, bids must be duly received by the BAC Secretariat through manual transmission at the given address below. 19.3, partial bid is not allowed. The goods are grouped in a single lot, and the lot shall not be divided into sublots for the purpose of bidding, evaluation, and contract award. 21.1, the contractor shall be responsible for securing all necessary permits, such as electrical, civil works permits, permit to import NTC, security pass, other local permits, etc., from the respective offices that may be necessary for the installation of the equipment at site. The cost of acquiring such permits, including its processing, shall be borne by the contractor. Additional contract documents related to the project required by the CAAP during contract agreement signing will be B.1, project implementation schedule, and B.2, cash flow by quarter. Letter C, the following documents shall form part of the contract and shall be submitted together with the technical proposal during the bidding. Number 1, system interconnection design diagram signed and sealed by a professional ECE, PECE. Number 2, siting, location design plan, localizer, glide path, and cable layout plan. The document shall be signed and sealed by a PECE. Number 3, power, electrical, grounding, transformer, and cages, handholds, and cabling system, design plan, including electrical system, single line diagram, designed and sealed by a professional electrical engineer. Number 4, RCMS interconnection plan, signed and sealed by professional ECE. Number 5, project work schedule plan for 365 calendar days. Number 6, original latest versions of OEM equipment, technical characteristics, etc. Number 7, copy of PRC certificate or clear photocopy of PECE, PEE license of the signing engineers. Number 8, copy of PTR of the signing engineers. Number 9, certificate of good standing from the accredited professional organization. Number 10, signed compliance statement to relevant section of IKO Annex 10, Volume 1, Radio Navigational Aids. Number 11, Item 1.5 of Section 7, Technical Specification, Certificate of Site Inspection as prescribed in the BDS. In addition to the required documents, the following documents shall be submitted during the post-qualification stage. Number 1, certificate of exclusive or authorized distributorship issued by the OEM of supplied equipment. Number 2, valid ISO 9001 and 14001 certificates or its internationally recognized equivalent of the company and product. Section 5, special conditions of contract. Number 1, GCC clause, delivery, and documents. And for purposes of this clause, the procuring entity's representative at the project site is Engineer Ramon Chong Jr., CAAP ANS facility in charge, authorized at site defined in Section 6, Schedule of Requirements. 2.2, this is a turnkey project. Payment will be after issuance of project completion, certification of CAAP. Number 4, inspection and test that will be conducted are A, verification inspection of ILS equipment and conformity to contract specification. Letter B, verification inspection of manhole construction, power cable within conduits, laying, trenching, and backfilling. Letter C, periodic inspections at site, FAT commissioning, and SAT. Number 5, contractor supplier shall warrant the entire equipment assembly, software, and related integrated site works for 1 year defect liability period, parts and service, plus 1 year warranty period, parts and service. Section 6, the schedule of requirements. For the instrument landing system, item number 1, localizer equipment and subsystem for runway 20, 1 set. That includes the localizer equipment, which is a dual system. Item number 2, glide path, GP equipment and subsystem 1 set consist of a dual system. Number 3, IDM equipment and subsystem 1 set. Low power DM equipment set 100 watts dual system also. Number 4, system monitoring and control equipment 1 set. The RCMS set including modems, network appliance, and other configuring item. Section 5, localizer and glide path equipment, shelter and ancillary. We have 2 sets for the localizer and glide path. Section 6, spare parts. ILS spare parts set for Cat 1 for localizer, GP, and IDME. Section 7, test equipment and tools. We need multi-use communication analyzer, oscilloscope mix signal dual trace, portable PIR, frequency counter, a wattmeter, extender boards, directional coupler, terminating resistors, attenuators. We need also OTDR, optical fiber fusion splicer, and a ruggedized service notebook computer terminal with case, connectors, and power supply. Number 8, site works. we will be referring to detailed site works for the provision of power line, fiber optic link, and ancillaries and other works that consist of one lot. Number 9, training and factory acceptance test detailed as on-site test equipment training for multi-use communication analyzer, optical fiber fusion splicer, and OTDR, one lot. On-site facility training, one lot. Factory acceptance test, one lot. Factory training, one lot. Item number 10, commissioning and flight check, including support, one lot. And number 11, ILS warranty for the defect, liability, period, and warranty. And for the site works, these are the items that we need. Provisions of power line auxiliaries, provision of step up and down transformers, provision of grounding, provision of step up, step down transformers at and receiving end side at GPS glide slope shelter, provision of transformer cages for ILS, glide path and glide slope shelter, supply of 15 kVA portable generator, provision of hand hole, 3 sets, dismantling and removal of existing electrical power system of ILS. That's all, Mr. Chair, for the site works. For the localizer equipment identification code is IIO in Morse code. Mr. Chair, the Section 8 checklist of technical and financial documents was recently updated. So I hope uh, that that this checklist will satisfy the Secretariat. For number 1, the technical component envelope, Class A documents, the legal documents. We just require the valid field jobs registration. Technical documents, letter B, statement of prospective bidder of all ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started. Letter C, statement of bidders SLCC. Letter D, original copy of bid security. Letter E, design requirements per BDS 21.1C. Letter F, certificate of site inspection issued by the Iloilo CNS facility in charge. Letter G, bid bulletin if applicable. Letter H, accomplished Annex A ITB 10.1 form. I, original duly signed omnibus forms statement, and if applicable, original notarized secretary certificate. Letter J, a certification under oath attesting that they have no pending case against the government. Letter K, legal clearance to be issued by the CAAP ELS. And financial documents number 1, the prospective bidders computation of NFCC or a committed line of credit from a universal commercial bank in lieu of its NFCC computation. Class B documents, letter M, if applicable, a duly signed joint venture agreement in case of joint venture is already in existence. Other documentary requirements under RA 9184 is N for foreign bidders claiming by reason of their country's extension of reciprocal rights to Filipinos. Letter O, certification from the DTI if the bidder claims preference as a domestic bidder or domestic entity. Item numeral number 2, financial component envelope. Number A, original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form. Letter B, original of duly signed and accomplished price schedules. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Jun. Uh, I would like to clarify for the record. This is a supply and installation of ILS, and we know that we have ILS in Iloilo. So, uh, is the location of the ILS the same as the existing one, or it will be changed?
Our design, Mr. Chair, for the Iloilo will be adapting the same location for the localizer. Uh, we we will just revise the location of shelter because of the findings, and it is composed of concrete shelter. So we will replace it with a frangible one.
Okay, but the antenna location will be the same. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Okay, and then second observation, yung certification to be issued by the facility in charge. I suggest that facility in charge or representative. Baka during the time na nag-visit ay wala sila, wala si Mr. Chong, so yung representative niya.
Noted, Mr. Chair. We will just revise it to include a representative in case of his absence.
Okay, thank you. So, PWG, any comment or recommendation?
If I may, Mr. Chair, just a few correction po.
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Siguro, typo lang siguro to sa BDS number 15.
Okay.
Yes. May we request the end user po na i-move na lang yung sa number 1, yung bits not complying with the above instruction. Sa number 1.
Noted
After
po.
number just after the last paragraph. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
The reason for this, Mr. Chair, is that yung last part po kasi some bidders sometimes submit more than one copy, and some bidders are also complaining na dapat na ma-disqualifies yung nag-submit na more than one copy, and we do not disqualify po yung mga ganon kasi extra copies lang po. So we just move the requirement po ng bids not complying dun sa number 1. And then under 21.1, yes, just a typo error siguro sa letter B, additional contract. Siguro yan, hindi contact.
Sorry. Go on.
That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you po.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jupet. Okay, so how about the Secretariat? Do you have some comment, observation?
No comments po from the Secretariat, Chair.
Okay, thank you. So, end user, what is the request of the end user for this project?
Mr. Chair, the request of the end user for this project is for uh, posting for public bidding of this project.
Thank you, June. Okay,
Thank you,
so
Mr. Chair.
to my fellow members of the BAC, do you have some comments or motion for this project?
Mr. Chair, I would like to go back to the list of test instruments that are
Okay.
included in this project. John, can you scroll down to the list of test instruments?
Yeah. Mr. Chair, these are the list of test instrument and tools.
Okay, so you included the true line watt meter because right now the facilities are looking for the peak power meter they're requesting. But I think true line watt meter is enough. It's much cheaper. Remember sa Arnold yung nire-request ng Panglaw, the peak power meter?
Yes, so kailangan ba natin yon? Kailangan isama ba pa yon?
Masyadong mahal yun, Sir
mahal
Arnold.
yun. Oo.
Masyadong mahal. True line watt meter is enough with the elements included. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Jun.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes. How about the OTDR, ano yan? Requirement ba yan?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Kasi po, the OTTR is our main instrument for troubleshooting in case that we have some troubles in our fiber optic line.
Okay, sige. Okay, thank you. Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Mr. Chair.
About Arnel, do you have some clarification or query?
No further comment from me, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so may I request for motion? Motion for this project. Right. Wait, at TWG, do you have already the recommendation? May I hear again your recommendation?
For the TWG, Mr. Chair, the TWG recommends for the posting of the project purchase installation of ILS for Iloilo International Airport, subject to the said aforementioned corrections, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So, any motion for the other members of the BAC?
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Elmer.
Move to adopt the recommendation of CTWG for the publication of these projects and the mode of Geometric public bidding subject to some revisions. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you. Any second the motion?
I second the motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Arnel. So with the recommendation of DTWG and first and second the motion, the BAC adopt the recommendation for the posting of this project subject to minor correction of the document presented. So ordered. Thank you. So
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Secretariat, do you have other matters?
No other matters po from the Secretariat, sir.
Okay, so about TWG, do you have some other matters?
For the TWG, Mr. Chair, we do not have any additional agenda for today, sir.
Okay, thank you. About the other members of the BAC, do you have some announcement or query or anything before we close this meeting?
None for me, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Secretariat, when will be the next meeting?
Sir, will verify pa po sa back office, sir. No idea at the moment po.
Okay, thank you. Okay, since there is no more question or clarification or announcement, so the meeting is hereby adjourned, and see you in the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.